Hey everyone, so Bitcoin just pushed back about $72,000 again. And yes, this come after it's already broke that level yesterday, pulled back, and now reclaims it's today. So right away, let's answer the real question. What's happening here? This is not a clean breakout. This is a market reacting quickly to global headlines, shifting sentiment, and short-term pressure rather than steady strength underneath. If you look at the past 48 hours, this has not been a smooth climb. Bitcoin moved above $72,000 yesterday, then dropped into the high 68 to 69,000 range, and today it's climbed back over $72,000 again. That kind of movement tells you this is not a slow trend. It is a reaction driven by something external. When you connect the dots, it lines up with what has been unfolding globally. Tensions in the Middle East, especially tied to the Strait of Hormuz, and oil supplies concerns created initial fear. Markets pulled back, Bitcoin followed. Then headlines shifted toward possible de-escalation, and everything flipped. Bitcoin's rebounds, risk appetites return, and price moved higher again. So this stops being only a Bitcoin story. This is macro pressure following directly into price action. On the surface, charts look strong. Bitcoin is holding above the key psychological level, gaining on the day, and outperforming many traditional assets. Dominant remains about 60%, showing capital continues concentrating into Bitcoins rather than spreading elsewhere. That detail matters. Then there is the institutional layer. Momentums around spot Bitcoin ETFs continues building, with firms like Morgan Stanley moving toward broader exposure for clients. That is structured capital's positioning, not retail chasing price. That adds a layers of support. Part of me look at this and see real demand. This is not artificial. Another part notice details that do not fully match the move. Volumes has not expanded alongside price. Over the last day, trading activities has been relatively muted compared to the size of the swings. When price rises without strong volumes, it often signals thinner liquidities and highest sensitivities to news. That brings everything back to what is driving this. Early markets reacted to fear, escalation risk, oil's disruption, inflation pressure. Then the narrative shifted towards easing. Oil pulled back slightly, pressure softened, and Bitcoin reacted upward again. What you are seeing is not a steady transforming. It is a reactive environment. You can see this clearly in the price behavior. Bitcoin opened in the high 68 range, dipped it quickly, then claimed 70 before pushing above 72,000 within a short window. That is not gradual accumulation. That is headline-driven movement. Now here is where it becomes more nuanced. Even with volatility, Bitcoin is holding up better than many traditional assets. It is not collapsing under pressure. It is rebounding. That begins to shift perceptions, with some suggesting Bitcoin is becoming more resilient or starting to separate. Maybe that conclusion is not confirmed yet. When you listen to analysts, caution still sits in the background. Whether this move hold above 72,000 or fail again depends on one factor: stability in global conditions. If tensions cool, if the Strait of Hormuz situation improves, if oil stabilizes, then momentums can continue building. Price could hold this range and push higher with stronger footing. If conditions reverse, if negotiations break down or escalating returns, this move can unwind quickly. This is the environment right now. This is the part worth focusing on. It is easy to look at 72,000 and assume strength. When you break it down, that stands out is sensitivity. Bitcoin is reacting to global developments in real time, almost like a pressure gauge for broader conditions. So the ways to approach this moment is not simply bullish or bearish. It is recognizing that this is a reactive market rather than a stable trend. The next move will not come from charts alone. It comes from the real world's developments, decisions, negotiations, outcomes that influence capital flows across markets. So if you are watching this closely, the real question is not only where Bitcoin trades, it is what is driving the movement. Right now, it is not just the markets, it's the world.